Good morning. Welcome to Let There Be Light. Have a look at what the Apostle Paul said, because this is important for you. Don't go anywhere. Listen, he said the following: "For what I will to do, that I do not practice, but what I hate, that I do." Let me put that in today's language. Paul was saying, what I want to do, I don't do. What I hate to do, that's what I do. What does that mean, Bishop? And what does that mean for me? Have you noticed how usually the things that are good for us, we don't like? Think about it. When you were a child, if someone gave you some candy, an option between some candy and a carrot, which one did you choose? Surely the candy. But you know that the carrot is better for you. Perhaps you hated carrots. You hated some kind of vegetables. You hated. But that's what was good for you. If you have a choice between sitting down in a comfortable sofa with a good meal, looking at some TV, and going to exercise vigorously, very hard, which one would you prefer? I believe sitting down with a comfortable meal. Maybe you don't like hard exercise. I'll be honest, me neither. But which one is good for us? You know that it's the one that we hate, the hard exercise. Last example. If someone offends you, someone hurts you, someone does something terrible against you, what do you prefer? To pray for the person and forgive them, or to hope that something terrible will happen to them? I know that most of us, our nature is to hope that something terrible happens to the person who hurt you. But that's not the right thing to do. And the Apostle Paul here was showing us that often the things we love to do, they're bad for us. You know, we are made of flesh and bone, and usually our desires of the flesh, they work against us. They are terrible against us, right? If it was up to our flesh, up to our heart, we would only decide to do what destroys us. Right? We would pick the worst foods, the worst friends, the worst relationships. And certainly we would not consider the Bible as something that we should pay attention to. Or we would do like many people who look at the Bible as a book of promises. They would choose a few verses that they like and ignore everything else. But the reality is that the Word of God often confronts us to show us our mistakes, our sin, the things we have to change, right? And actually, many people choose not to go to church because they know that when they go to church, they will hear the truth, and the truth hurts. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes the truth hurts. When you're confronted with the Word of God, God causes you, He calls you to change. So the Apostle Paul, he came to this realization, this understanding. I do what I hate because it's good for me, right? So Paul, he was persecuted for his faith, he was criticized, but he didn't have to be. He could abandon his faith and go with the degrees that he had, choose a very different life. But he chose to do that because it was the right thing to do. What is the right thing to do that maybe you hate? Maybe asking for forgiveness is the right thing to do, but you hate it. Maybe confronting a sin that is destroying your relationship with God is the right thing to do, but you don't do it because that sin feels good. If sin didn't feel good, then nobody would do it. But people fall into sin because it feels good, right? There's an appeal to it. And so this verse that Paul said becomes our mission, becomes the way that we should live our life. How should we live our life? We do what we hate, but is the right thing to do. But we don't do what we like. That is often the wrong thing to do. Do you remember yesterday in the program? And if you haven't watched yesterday's program, go back and watch it. We spoke about distractions. How Satan uses distractions to destroy people. Why are distractions so appealing? because they take off your mind from what you need to do. Have you noticed that sometimes you need to do something that's important, but you don't want to do it? And so you say, let me just scroll a little bit. Let me just watch this video. And you are avoiding doing what needs to be done because you don't like to do it. You hate it. But Paul said, I do what I hate. And what I like to do, I don't do. Maybe you like to do things that have a bad effect in your life, a terrible effect in your life. Listen, you have two choices after watching this program. Either become a slave, a prisoner of the things that you like but destroy you, or you start to put in practice the discipline of faith to understand that usually the things that we don't like to do are the things that become a blessing for us. Remember when you perhaps didn't like to go to school? Maybe you didn't like to go to school to study. You preferred to play, to do other things, but that was good for you. That was a blessing for you. And today is the same. Keep within you this lesson that the things that are a blessing for us are usually the things we don't like to do. Final example, perhaps on Sunday is the only time you have to sleep. And maybe you hate waking up early, but coming to the house of God, maybe you hate waking up early, but waking up early to be in the house of God, to seek Him, is where you draw strength to become closer to Him and a better person. Let's live our lives like Paul said, to do what we hate but is good for us, and not do what we like, because often the things we like to do are the ones that destroy us. I want to end this program with an appeal to you. Yesterday we spoke about the work of the Night Angels, a group of people in our church that with no salary, they volunteer their time. They do this out of the passion to help others. Twice, 3 times, depending, sometimes twice a month, sometimes 3 times a month, we go to location where there are homeless people. We donate food to them. And in a few days' time, we'll be going to Longshan Temple to evangelize women who are in that area, who are suffering. And we need your help. Perhaps you cannot be there in person to talk to these women together with us, but you can donate hygiene kits. The hygiene kits you can see on your screen can be bought at any convenience store. If you want to help, go to one convenience store, buy 1 or 2 or as many as you want of these hygiene kits and bring them to our church, either in Taipei or in Ankan. We will then prepare them and we will use them to do this work, to evangelize these women, to pray for them and to show them that there's a better life waiting for them. If you want to help, then feel free to drop into one of our church and bring as many of those hygiene kits as you can. If you can donate one will already help. If you can donate more than 1, then even better. All right? May God bless you. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you tomorrow here with my wife, Elena, at 7:30 in the morning to talk about relationships. God bless you. Bye-bye.